It's 3:52 in the afternoon, and we find ourselves here, on Gold Avenue. For most people, this would be a relaxing afternoon, but for the riders of Pickup New Mexico, it is crunch time. Less than an hour left till showtime. The riders' room is drenched in anxiety. How will they come up with a cold opening?
From beautiful downtown Albuquerque, it's Pick Up New Mexico. This week's guest, State of New Mexico Department of Indian Affairs Cabinet Secretary Josett Monette. Music by BNYRD. And here is our host, Isiah Yazzie.
Woo! How you doing, David?
Doing great. How you doing, Isiah?
I am doing well. How's your break?
It was good, got some good resting, some good working with music. I'll show you a little bit later.
Yeah, show me a few. I got back from Coachella.
Okay, how was that?
It was a good time. I found myself a Coachella princess.
What is a Coachella princess?
I'm glad you asked. A Coachella princess is a white girl from California whose dad exploits native resources, and so she thinks she can wear a headdress to Coachella. She met my mom. My mom approves. Let's get into some news. So the New York City council member proposed a new way to handle the rat population, birth control. Yeah. My solution, cat Viagra. Yeah. Our Trisco heritage is under fire after allowing a drag dancer to perform at their prom. Yeah. The faculty that approved that definitely has blue hair, David. When asked, the students described the parent who shut it down as quite the drag. Just let them dance, man. They all just want to have a good time. All the kids and the drag performers in them. A manager at a Taco Bell in Pennsylvania saved a baby's life when she ran out of the drive-thru window to perform CPR on a customer's choking baby. Yeah. When asked to give a comment, the heroic manager said that she was only trying to help the baby live más. It's warming up outside, so here's a PSA. If it's too hot for dogs or if it's too hot for babies, it's too hot for your chapstick. Yeah. Me personally, I will be smashing windows all summer if I see a Burt's Bees laying out. Good waste of money there. Dark Brandon signed the now infamous TikTok ban that which will give the app's parent company ByteDance a year to sell. However, the Chinese government has promised to cut that sale and block it totally, setting the stage for a possible ban here in the US. Yeah. All I know is I've been addicted to screen time, and maybe this is the way that it'll help me cut down, I'm low-key hoping Biden bans YouTube, Snapchat, and Pornhub. I need my life back. That dude definitely knows what I'm talking about.
He does.
A new DNA of living and historical members of the Blackfoot Confederacy suggests that they share a lineage with people from the last ice age. Yeah, that's 18,000 years of grandmas complaining about long walks. Never gets old, though. Never gets old. Never gets old. Burkeños gathered at the pit last week to learn CPR, and dozens of citizens learned how to save a life, and a few boys even learned how to get to first base. We have a great show for you tonight. Our guest is Josett Monette. Woo! And we have music from our studio DJ all year, BNYRD. So be sure to stick around. We'll be right back. Thank you all so much for tuning back into Pickup New Mexico. I'm so excited to have here the State of New Mexico Department of Indian Affairs Cabinet Secretary, Josett Monette. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, of course, of course. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm excited.
I'm excited to be here.
How you doing? How's everything? How's life?
Busy. I'm
Busy.
good.
Good. You're
but
doing.
busy.
You getting ready for gatherings weekend?
I'm hoping I get to go on Saturday. My hope is to go and just kind of sit and chill on Saturday.
Maybe get like a Navajo taco.
Yes.
Are you a Navajo taco or Indian taco kind of? I know there's a big debate, so I just got to know Indian or Navajo taco.
I like, well, I mean, I grew up saying Indian taco, but I do like all the fry bread from everywhere. I haven't met a fry bread that I don't like, so.
That's a good answer. That's a good like good safe answer. I like that. I'm gonna go straight. I'm biased. I'm a Navajo taco kind of guy. I almost said gal. I'm a Navajo taco kind of gal. I'll say it. It's not a big deal, but so you are the Cabinet Secretary of the Department of Indian Affairs of the State of New Mexico. Correct. What does that entail? I know that there's kind of confusion between secretary, what is it, cabinet secretary? So can you kind of describe the difference?
So I had the pleasure of being appointed by the governor of the state of New Mexico, so Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. So it's an appointed position. I serve on the cabinet, so I have my kids who were like, so what exactly do you do, Mom? And I'm like, well, you know how the president has his cabinet? I'm like that for the governor. And they're like, So I serve Indian country in New Mexico for the most part, right? I'm working with nations, pueblos, and tribes and Indian people across the state of New Mexico, helping the governor as best as I can, really push forth some of her initiatives and doing what we can for Indian country in New Mexico.
That is so beautiful to hear. And you say you have kids. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids.
3 kids, okay.
3 kids. They are 22 and 19 and 17. My 22-year-old just got back she went to Spain and then to Morocco. So she just got back last night. So at like midnight, she called me and she was like, hey, Mom, I need a ride. I'm at the airport. And I'm like, cool, I'll be there.
Did she tell you, did she like Spain?
She did. She loved it. She went last year.
Okay.
And she was lucky enough, one friend was there last year for like a school program, and then another friend was there this year for a school program again. So she got to go, basically paid for her flight, and everything else was paid for. I'm like, yeah, she lives a pretty good life. I don't know how, but.
Yeah. When are you going to Spain
exactly.
for vacation? I actually went to Spain a few years ago, and I used to be I worked at a Christian summer camp. I was like the only native kid at the Christian summer camp, and they were like, "Hey, native kid, you should help start a summer camp in Spain." And I was like, "That sounds like a fun idea." So I went all the way to Spain. Enjoyed it, but I was there, and I remember the lady was totally oblivious of me being Indio, is what they say in Spain. And it was like a picturesque moment, like a Polaroid moment. She didn't put her arm around me, but she should have. And she was like, you know who that is? It was like a statue, and I was like, no idea. She was like, Christopher Columbus. And she was like building this dude up, and I just was like, okay. But yeah, Spain is a beautiful place. But enough with that. How did you get appointed? Where were you working before this, and were you here in New Mexico?
Yeah, so I get long-winded about my story, so feel free to cut me off. But so ultimately, I started lots of places, but just most recently, I was at the Indian Affairs Department for the state of New Mexico. I was serving as the general counsel. I came on as general counsel in March of 2023. and kind of moved into another role where I was serving as deputy cabinet secretary and general counsel, kind of playing both roles for a little bit. And then in December, around December, the governor actually reached out and just said, hey, are you interested in serving as cabinet secretary? And I always tell people, I think my first question was, are you sure?
Do you remember where you were at?
I was in her office. So I got, I'm working there at Indian Affairs Department, and my calendar is available or whatever, and all of a sudden I got a calendar invite from the governor, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going on.
I would be nervous too. The governor sending me an invite to
I
what?
was like, so I was super nervous. And yeah, it really just kind of took me by surprise. But yeah, so we had a conversation though, and we talked about it. And obviously, I think the big thing, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but the thing for me that I was a little worried about was, I'm not from New Mexico. My tribe is up in North Dakota. I was born and raised on my reservation in North Dakota, but I've been in New Mexico since 2012, and most of my work as an attorney has been in Indian country in New Mexico. And so my kids have been raised here in Albuquerque. They've lived here. New Mexico is their home. They're like, we're not leaving, Mom. I'm like, oh, fair enough. So I was like, okay, but so I was like, well, if I can get the support and if we can figure it out. So I thought about it, and her question really was too. She said, do you think you can do the job? And I said, yes, I think I can do it. And she said, okay, well then let's.
Well, it sounds like you have all the support behind you to take on this job. Did you have to get sort of a vote from, was it the House or the Senate to be appointed?
I did.
Okay, and how did that go? And obviously, you got in favor of voting, but was it unanimously, ununanimously? I don't know if those make sense.
Yeah. Ununanimous. No,
Yeah.
it was unanimous, which was surprising for me. So it was all a very new process for me. So I came in last year to IAD in March. I had come in just at the end of the legislative session.
Okay.
This is my first kind of go around with a governmental body. I've worked for a tribal government before, but with the state government, this is brand new for me. So I missed the whole legislative session last year, and came in, and of course the beginning of the year the legislative session starts, and they're like, okay, you're now like in the role of cabinet secretary. You're the cabinet secretary designate, and then you're going to get appointed, we hope, and are confirmed, we hope, and then but you also have all these other things. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it was a complete whirlwind for me, trying to meet with people, make sure that people knew who I was and knew a little bit about my story, because I'm the new kid on the block. Like, who is she? So yeah, it was really exciting, really scary. It was a whirlwind. I live here in Albuquerque, and so I don't think I got home most nights until like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And so during the legislative sessions, it was late nights, but it was great. I had a great time. I'm really happy. I think I felt like I got a pretty decent support from the legislature.
Yeah.
And so I was really honored. It was like it took me back like big time. Yeah.
We saw, Harry and I were up at the Roundhouse, and I think we ran into you a few times, but we weren't like, oh, hey, hi. So now, in every legislative session, got to get coffee or something. Yeah. But let me ask you. Yes, that's a great idea, and talk about issues that are current. What are some of the issues that you have to deal with here? I know that we kind of described that, but issues in your position right now.
Yeah. So I think one of the big things that isn't super exciting right now that I'm working on is really just kind of solidifying what the office will look like under my role for the next couple of years, anyhow. And so that's kind of one thing. But of course, we're working with, we put a lot of money in infrastructure into tribes. And so making sure that we're on top of that, and that my team is communicating with our constituents and with the nation's pueblos and tribes to make sure that we're getting the money out to them, make sure we're getting the intergovernmental agreements out, making sure that money's being expended so that, money doesn't get reverted. We also have other initiatives, though, at IAD. So we have a behavioral health suicide prevention specialist.
Okay.
We have a tribal consultation specialist. The state of New Mexico has the State Tribal Collaboration Act, which basically says that the state agrees to communicate and collaborate and work with tribes, which is pretty awesome. And so we have that consultation specialist to help facilitate communications between nations, publics, and tribes in the states, including, so every state agency has a tribal liaison. And so our consultation specialist, we're kind of working on that to bring it up to speed a little bit more. And so she'll be working with the tribal liaisons from all the different agencies and making sure that the people working out in the nation's publics and tribes know who the representatives are from the state departments as well, so they can reach out to them. We have a government and legislative policy director who kind of keeps up to date on what's going on in the legislative world and policy, like in New Mexico, but also nationally. And so, of course, we're already looking at what's going on for next year and trying to figure that out. It's really interesting to me too, because you go through and we're already planning our budget for next year, which was like kind of for me. I was like, oh, shoot, so we just got our budget approved for this year, and we're like, what do you need next year? And I'm like, oh my goodness, okay.
More pens, more paper
pens.
already.
Yeah, so it's exciting. We do a lot of really good work at IAD, and I have an amazing team that really helps me out and does some really great work. And so, we have a supportive administration, and it's just really exciting, and I'm blessed to be in this position.
It's exciting to see, it all fold out. You said that the website was going to have some changes coming up, but will that website kind of direct people on where they can meet with you or your liaisons?
Yes, so my goal, and I really hope I'm not eating my words at some point, but my goal is that our website should really be, and I say interactive, but I'm not super techie, so I don't know if that's the right word. But my goal is that people should be able to use our website as a resource. Okay. I'm like, it should help kind of deter some of those calls, that random calls, and where we have to unfortunately tell people we don't do that, or here, go, let me connect you with this person, that, and the other. And it's something that really should just be available on our website. So my goal is that we will have a nice website that has all of these, that really highlights each of the different areas that IAD works in, and people can go and they can click and go to that page and then find the information that they need for each of those different areas, and that it really kind of does everything. But we do have part on there, it's, I think it says email or contact the secretary, so it's like my face, and a little form to fill out to visit with me. But people can email me. Anybody can email me whenever they want. It's available online. I always tell people, I'm like, you can Google me and find me.
Sounds like a plan, and we'll be sure to put your information for people who are looking to, learn more about what your position does and how, if they need to interact into how they can get the issues and everything they need to. So we'll have to have you back in season 2, and once everything is ready, and we'll have to follow up and see how you're doing.
I would love that.
Awesome.
That
Thank you so much again for being on the show.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these breaks or commercials, or whenever you're done, go and get your ice cream or whatever it is. We'll see you after this. Awesome. Thank you all so much for tuning back into Pick Up New Mexico. Our next guest is joining us all the way from the Big Apple. Please, she's director and screenwriter. Please welcome Roselle Benally. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to have you on the show. It's been a long time. I know that we tried to get you on earlier in the season, and kind of our schedules conflicted, so it's good to have you on today.
Awesome, thanks. It's good to be here. Feels it's giving a little bit of Wayne's World vibes. I'm digging it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a segment. I'll do a segment with David here soon, and we'll do Wayne's World.
You should totally do that.
So you currently live in New York right now. You're from New Mexico, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, I consider New Mexico to be a home.
Okay.
Sorry. I have family in Santa Fe and Albuquerque, and I was born in Oregon
Okay.
and was sort of raised out in South Dakota mainly. And then afterwards I decided to go to college at IIA, then New Mexico became sort of like a home base to me.
That that's awesome. Yeah, I want to talk to you about IAIA actually. I mean, you went to school at IAIA for screenwriting?
For the Cinematic Arts and Technology program. Yeah.
Okay. And what year did you attend IAIA?
Uh,
Sorry.
well, if you must know, I actually flunked out of IAI in like 2006, 2007.
Oh man, so
It's actually a really hard thing to do, I think. So that was a big accomplishment of
yeah.
mine. I went back way later, from I think it was 2014 to 2017.
Okay.
Graduated in 2017. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to kind of talk about that because I know you probably get this a lot, but there's a lot of filmmakers here in New Mexico, even television kind of writers or people who want to get into it. Did
Mhm.
IAI help you with that at all, or how did you kind of get started into your path, into what your career?
Yeah, I had a big part in where I'm at professionally right now.
Okay.
I consider it to be a stepping stone, and I was able to build community, and I was able to, just kind of get my hands dirty with local projects and just being creative pretty freely. And when I returned back to I actually got my degree in cinematic arts. I took a year off after that and then decided to come out to New York University. Tisch School of the Arts has um, an excellent, if I'm a little biased. I think it's the best film school in the world for grad school. So I came out here for that, and then I kind of sort of never left. Still here after I graduated with my MFA, and um, yeah, I dig it out here, but I do miss red chili a lot, actually. So much I made enchiladas to like today.
Oh
So
man, I bet
yeah,
delicious enchiladas. If I ever get up to New York soon, I'll have to bring you a jar of green chili or red chili from your favorite
please,
restaurant.
please.
Are you working? I know that you've worked on Dark Winds, Murder in Bighorn, and the short film Raven. Are you currently working on any projects right now?
Yeah, I'm actually a WGA member and a DGA member. So the my scope of work right now, I don't want to say it's limited. I would like to think of it more as exclusive. But I have a few opportunities that I'm sort of negotiating. But I do have a project that I'll be directing. It's a feature length. It'll be my first feature
That's
length
exciting.
narrative film, and I'm pretty excited about that. But unfortunately, I can't talk a lot about it right now at this time.
Yeah.
Um,
I totally
yeah.
understand. I totally understand. I was an extra in a few films like Darkwind, so I know that there's a little. You can't really talk about projects and everything before they start. So, but we're excited to see what kind of work you have in store for us for the future. How can people follow you? Where are you on social media? Where can they find your trailers and different things like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it's sort of hard to find me these days, not gonna lie. I mean, I feel like I used to have I used to enjoy social media a lot more. I'd say maybe like 3 years ago, maybe, pre-pandemic, and then a little bit after post-pandemic. But these days, I'm just so busy. I hardly find myself on social media, but you can find me on Instagram. I think that's how you found me. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty reachable. If you are just like nice and not asking me to you know, if you're a non-native person, ask me to collaborate on some random native project you have going on. I'm pretty approachable.
Thank you again so much for being on this show. I'm so happy that we can talk. We have a few mutual friends who I think went to school with you at IAIA, and I've seen you around here and there, and so I'm so excited now that that I've kind of had you on Pick of New Mexico, and I'm looking forward to talking with you, hopefully at Indian Market, or if we run paths. Like I said, I'll bring you up that red chili to New York when I visit.
You have to. You have to.
That is a promise, and I will keep it.
I'm already looking forward to it.
Awesome, but all you have to take me is to your favorite deli.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, Roselle, thank you so much for joining us. I hope to keep in touch, and hopefully we can have you back on season 2, season 3, and whenever you'd like to come on, just let us know.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Welcome back to Pick Up New Mexico. Thank you for being here. You've heard this guy week to week. You've seen him week to week. Now you're going to see him in his DJ phase. Please give it up for BNYRD. Thank you so much. What a way to end our first season. Wow, what a great season. I want to give everybody a thank you. All the crew here, James, Travis, Mark. I want to give a thank you to all my writers, Jovian, Angora, Danger, Jeanette. I'd like to give a shout out to Sandra, who's helped all 6 weeks. I'd like to give a shout out to Harry Gans, my producer. I'd like to give a shout out to Mona Lisa. I'd like to give a shout out to Michelle Lujan Grisham. I want to give a shout out to Christina Panahoto, oh yes, and all our guests. Joseph Maestas, Harold Pope, Veronica Krotnick, Christina Panahoto, Peter Trevisani, Josette Monette, and all our musical guests. Thank you all so much for season 1. Cannot wait to see you for season 2. We did it. Pick up New Mexico. When politics pisses you off, we pick you